Well, just a day after Team Canada announced their Olympic squad and facing backlashes on some certain choices, Team USA announced their roster, and there may even be more controversy with this one. So let's dive into why Team USA is selecting these 25 players, why some players got snubbed, why some got selected, and what it all means come February. Now, first, let's start with the locks that were already named, number one being the captain, Auston Matthews. Honestly, Matthews has been a shell of himself this season and a little bit of last season as well. Injuries have certainly played a role, and some debate with Toronto's system has also led to question marks surrounding why he just hasn't looked like himself. As of late, he's started to find his game, and at his absolute peak, he could be one of the best goal scorers in the world and in this tournament. Next is Jack Eichel, who also dealt with injuries this year, but was a no-brainer as one of the best centermen in the league. After that, we got both of the Kachucks. Both Brady and Matthew are the heartbeat of Team USA. We saw it last year in the Four Nations. They gave us the craziest 9 seconds in hockey history. They score, they can check, fight, and represent everything Team USA wants to be in this tournament, which is extremely hard to play against. The other two preliminary locks were on the back end. First was Charlie McAvoy, who himself has had just brutal luck with injuries. Last year, Team USA was missing McAvoy due to an injury that kept him out for the remainder of the season. This year, McAvoy also had a tough go after taking a puck to the face and needing surgery. But at his best and when he's healthy, he can be one of the best two-way defenders in the game, which is why Team USA named him early. Now, the last lock is Quinn Hughes. We all know the drama with Hughes this season, as he was involved in arguably the biggest trade the NHL has seen in years. It was no bueno in Vancouver, but now being shipped over to the Wild, playing for the US GM and Billy Guerin, Quinn Hughes is back to being Quinn Hughes, which is the second best defenseman in the world, if not the best on some nights. So those are the early locks, and here is the full roster. And right now, we're going to go through the notable differences between the Four Nations team and this Olympics team. So in is Clayton Keller, Tage Thompson, and Seth Jones. Out is going to be Chris Kreider and Adam Fox. Now, we're going to dissect this because the most notable players not on this team were just snubbed entirely last year and this year. I also find it kind of funny that Team Canada had more turnover in their roster than Team USA did, and Canada won gold. Now, when looking at these rosters, it does help put it into perspective when looking at it line by line. So let's start with the forwards. The first line, we're going to have both Kachucks on the wing with Auston Matthews centering them. Based on projected lines, some people have Eichel slotted in here, which he can totally fit there as well. And I think depending on where Matthews' game is at during the Olympics will be a decision on where they slot him in the lineup. That being said, in the final game last year against Canada, the Tkachuk line with Matthews did some damage before Matthew Tkachuk got hurt. I think when you look at Matthews' play style, which we covered in our most recent Leaf video, he thrives with players that can play a give-and-go style of game. The Tkachuks, especially Matthew, thrives in that area. Don't let the lack of foot speed fool you either. They're both some of the most intelligent and niftiest wingers in the game when it comes to getting pucks off the wall and into high danger areas. The biggest question mark is going to be how good can Matthew Tkachuk be. He's coming off a big injury that has caused him to miss all of this season so far, but usually he's a big-time player, and in big games, he finds a way to contribute. Considering how Team USA built this team and how they played last year, they're going to want a direct north-south style of game, and this top line brings it. Now, from this point on, it's really a toss-up in terms of fit and which players are going in each particular game. But second line, I have Eichel in the middle with Boldy on the right and Jake Gensel on the left. People may be surprised why I have Boldy so high up in the lineup. I think he's one of the most underrated wingers in the league. Jake Gensel is also a stone-cold killer. That guy should scare the shit out of any team. And a plus is that these three guys had some chemistry last year in the Four Nations, so it could be a combination moving forward. On the third line, we have Kyle Connor on the left, Dylan Larkin at center, and Jack Hughes on the right wing here. I think the biggest wildcard for me on this team is Jack Hughes. Obviously, he's had the hand injury this season. The last year at the Four Nations, I thought he struggled immensely when trying to find open space in these tight checking games. He is a smaller player, but he has the high level end talent that can just take over a game at any given time. We didn't really see the typical Jack Hughes in the Four Nations. It could have just been his first go around, so he's learning how to play in these types of games. But if he can be a true game changer, he makes this forward group a lot more dynamic and gives him way more options in that top six role also. Kyle Connor, the secret assassin himself, is an interesting one too. If you remember last year, they sat Connor in the final game of the Four Nations for Chris Kreider. That was an interesting choice, especially because they lost by 1 goal. Then you go to the fourth line where you got JT Miller on the left, Dwayne the Brock Nelson at center, and Tage Thompson on the right. Now, despite me having Thompson here, I actually don't think Team USA would put him on the fourth line or in a bottom six role. Thompson is big and skilled and probably fits far better in a top six role rather than a bottom six. I think if guys like Hughes or Connor aren't producing, he can slide up and take their spot there. If they want to have a Tkachuk in more of a checking role, then Tage Thompson can also fit really well in the top six, especially with a guy like Austin Matthews too. And then we get to the truly controversial decisions with this lineup, which are the extras that leave Clayton Keller and Vincent Trocheck. That means some damn good players are being left off entirely. Guys like Alex Tuck, Matthew Nice, Cole Caulfield, and the big one being Jason Robertson. A lot of USA fans are looking at any combination of those players and wondering how the hell are they on the outside looking in when JT Miller, Brock Nelson, and Vinny Trocheck made the team. Now, personally, I think Brock Nelson is a good pick. He's having a solid year. He can be a shutdown center. He kills penalties, and like Canada's picks, he's very versatile. JT Miller, on the other hand, is a little harder to defend if you're Team USA. He hasn't had a great year this year as captain of the Rangers, but last year I think Team USA really valued his compete in the Four Nations. He's the only guy not named a Tkachuk that dropped the gloves against Canada, and although that shouldn't matter because this is the Olympics and that's not allowed, it's clear that Team USA is valuing guys that are extremely hard to play against. Miller has his flaws, but when he's on his game, there is not a defender or forward who loves to see him coming. If Four Nations last year taught us anything, it's that forechecking is going to be critical to having success in this tournament. JT Miller knows his role and he plays it incredibly well. He'll finish every check as the F1, and against other teams' top players, he'll make sure to make their life a living hell by making them eat a bump every time they touch the puck. Some people question his leadership style and some on-ice efforts that make it look like his controller disconnected, but at the end of the day, I think JT Miller was always making this team. Then that leaves Vinny Trocheck. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Trocheck's game, he's a very versatile center that plays a physical, straightforward style. Because he's an above-average skater, he can help drive some plays off the rush, but where Team USA truly values him is getting into the inside to generate offense. Team Canada talked about this a lot with their selection of forwards, so you know Team USA is going to do the exact same. They want guys who can extend cycles and create chaos in front of the net. Trocheck is also one of the better slot passers in the league, ranking in the 97th percentile when it comes to high danger passes. He's a right-handed shot who kills penalties, but all that considered, Trocheck struggled last year in the Four Nations. In fact, he only had 10 minutes of ice time in the final against Canada, so it's clear as the stakes got higher and higher, they chose to use him less, which is why Team USA fans are completely baffled that they're leaving off Jason Robertson. Since January 1st of 2025, no American-born player has more goals than Jason Robertson, which is 50. He's also the only American to score 100 points during that time span. Robertson's plus-minus is also a plus 24, and that is second only to Dwayne the Brock Nelson. This guy's tied for points, shots taken, power play goals, and power play points. The numbers are what they are. Some of the knock on Robertson's game, though, is speed and defensive play, but let's just debunk that for a quick second. Robertson is way below league average when it comes to skating speed. It's no secret that Zamboni might move faster than him, but that doesn't stop him from scoring goals and producing offense. Despite the lack of speed, his hockey IQ and off-puck routes usually put him in the right spot at the right time. If Team USA is looking for players to produce offense in the tough areas and the interior of the ice, Jason Robertson is right there with the best of them to do it. In fact, this season, according to NHL Edge stats, no one has scored more high-danger goals 2 feet around the net than the RoboCop himself. I don't think there's any world where JT Miller was left off of this team, but to not bring Robertson over a guy like Trocheck is just hard to justify. But even if you want to keep all the aspects of Trocheck's game a part of the squad, you can still do that. I still think Jason Robertson excels more offensively than probably Thompson or even Keller as well. I mean, judging by this year alone, he's actually more productive than anyone on the roster. But again, I think the biggest thing that they're looking for is versatility and style of game. Like I said before, having a great forecheck in this tournament is going to be essential. Because of Robertson's lack of foot speed, he's not really the guy to go barging in as the F1, throwing a big hit to create a turnover. Instead, he's just going to be the guy that has the F2 or F3 to bounce all over that 50-50 puck and score a damn goal. Thompson and Keller are great options for Team USA, and they're also faster than Robinson. But if you're getting those guys for offensive flair and to try and score you a goal, I'm just not sure if any of those guys give you a better chance than Jason Robertson. Of course, he gives him a lot better chance than Vinny Trocheck or JT Miller, but Team USA is committed to this style of game. Robertson got snubbed last year. He gets snubbed this year. I don't know if he pissed in Billy Guerin's cornflakes before they made the roster announcement, but he doesn't make the team. We'll see how that plays out, and as you can imagine, if Jason Robertson didn't make the team, the other snubs didn't really stand a chance. Cole Caulfield was probably the other big one. He scored more game-winning goals than anyone else in the NHL, but due to his small stature and the overall physicality, Team USA decided to go another route. It's a bold strategy, Cotton, but we're going to see how it plays out. Then you go to the defense where we got the first pair of Quinn Hughes and Brock Faber. Now, Faber might not be on the first defensive pairing, but given the fact that they both now play together on Minnesota and developing chemistry fast in a 2-week tournament is vital, I think they're going to stick with something like this to at least start off with. The next is going to be Jacob Slavin and Charlie McAvoy. This could arguably be the first pair. It probably is, but Jacob Slavin's coming out party was last year at the Four Nations. Real puck knowers knew how good Slavin was for years prior, but seeing him in best on best, he is easily one of the top defensive defensemen in the world. Having him and McAvoy on the same pairing, it's pretty much shut down city. There's not a lot going through those fellas. Then on the third pairing, I have Zach Werenski with Seth Jones. Seth Jones is the new addition to the team this year, which is obviously chapping some people. But if anyone's watched him with Florida and their run to a second straight cup, you know how vital he is to playing their game. We saw a ton last year against McDavid. Controlling the neutral zone is going to be critical. Seth Jones, who's a right-handed shot, is very good at closing gaps in the middle of the ice and stepping up on offensive players at each line. Team USA wants range and length on the back end, and Seth Jones is exactly that. Not to mention, he used to be on a pair with Werenski in Columbus, so again, chemistry is a big fit there. That leaves Jake Sanderson and Noah Hannafin as the two extras on the back end. I think Jake Sanderson could easily find a way into the top 6 for them. He came in for Quinn Hughes last year when he got hurt before the Four Nations, and I thought Sanderson was one of their best defenders stepping in. If Hughes or Werenski go down, Sanderson is their best insurance to fill that hole. That leaves Noah Hannafin as the 8th guy, leaving both Adam Fox and Lane Hudson at home. Judging by their decision with their forward group and even how Team Canada built their decor, they're valuing guys that can play in any situation. Hudson, despite being tied with Werenski for the most points among U.S.-born defenders, still has some growth to do defensively and doesn't kill penalties. And considering Team USA already has Hughes, Werenski, and Sanderson, Hudson seems like a luxury that they already have. Adam Fox, on the other hand, made this team last year but gets the snip, and I don't know about this one. People blamed him for the game-winning goal last year when it was really a full-on breakdown for almost every USA player on the ice, but Fox took most of the blame. He is one of the best two-way defenders in the game. He's incredible on retrievals. He can make a first pass with the best of them, and like other elite puck-moving D-men, he's not overly physical with his defense, but instead relies on his efficient angling and anticipation to break up plays. That, though, is something that USA feels like they have enough of with Sanderson, Hughes, and Werenski yet again. The biggest difference there is that Fox isn't as fast as a skater as the other three, as he ranks below league average when it comes to his speed metrics, and it's clear USA wants to build a team that is fast. Add in the fact that he's not overly physical and they feel like these games are going to be won and lost around the blue paint, they decided to go with Seth Jones, who will probably be more effective when clearing out the front of the net. Another thing going against him is that Adam Fox doesn't kill penalties, which is something that both Brock Faber and Noah Hannafin do. To me, it's not as big of a snub as Jason Robertson, but judging how Canada built their decor and how Team USA wants to combat that and defend in this tournament, I can see why they made this decision. Despite this, I still think Team USA has the best decor in this entire tournament. They're big, fast, skilled, and deep. However, where I think Team USA has the biggest advantage out of anyone going into the Olympics is in the crease, and to no surprise, they're bringing back the same 3 goaltenders they brought to the Four Nations. That is Connor Hellebuyck, Jake Ottinger, and Jeremy Swayman. The only potential snub here could have been not taking Spencer the Dark Knight, but USA knows what they're getting with these 3 goaltenders. There's a larger sample size, so it's kind of a no-brainer. The real question will become who starts when the games matter the most. Connor Hellebuyck was the guy last year, but there's a narrative around Hellebuyck's game when it comes to the big one. Playoff Hellebuyck is a meme in itself, and despite being one of, if not the best goaltender in the world, there are some documented weaknesses in his game. I feel like this will depend heavily on who's got the hot hand going into this tournament, and based on the fact that the Stars are humming, I wouldn't be surprised if Jake Ottinger finds a way to take over. So quickly, my final thoughts on Team USA is, like Canada, I think they're a gold medal caliber team. I actually had Team USA winning the Four Nations last year, and they were a goal away from doing just that. But with some of these selections, it's clear that USA wants to build a very specific style of team and game that was very prevalent in the Four Nations. The result is leaving off some of the best players in the world. I think a lot of USA Hockey fans feel like Sean Shapiro, who wrote that USA Hockey's crowning moment back in 1980 set an ethos that a team doesn't need the best players, but rather the right ones. After 45 years and 0 Olympic golds later, Team USA still overly embraces the underdog mentality and belief that when building an Olympic team, roles are the most important thing. And while I do agree that the selection process hasn't worked for USA Hockey in all those years, the objective isn't to bring an all-star team or the best players. This isn't only USA Hockey making these types of decisions either. Canada did it as well, bringing guys like Sorelli and Horvat over Bedard. Team Sweden is doing it as well, bringing Pontus Holmberg instead of guys like Mikael Backlund, Andrei Burakovsky, and Marcus Johansson. Every country and every program picks players for specific roles in these types of tournaments. It's not just Team USA. Because the rink is smaller and the standard has been set with the style Canada and USA brought to the tournament last year in the Four Nations, every nation is crafting their roster to be prepared for that style of game. Whether that's the right decision is something we're going to find out, but sometimes it takes thinking out of the box to do something truly special. That being said, I'm still taking Jason Robertson on my team. I'm not crazy. So, what do you think of Team USA? Who is your biggest snob on any Olympic roster so far? Who do you think has the best chance to win gold in February? Let me know in the comments down below. We're going to be covering all the Olympics on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss a single thing.